Hey YouTube, we got a challenge from my friend Slacker Stacker, who by the way is a good dude, been around a long time, and I was surprised to see that he's still at 800 and some odd subs. So I also, if you don't know who he is, check him out. The link's in the description to a video that explains the challenge in his words. So I encourage you guys to click that and go watch that video. It'll explain it. So his challenge is for somebody to put out a video telling the good news, good stories, old stories, whatever, but just on the good side, all the bad news in the world. And I just finished watching his video, and I couldn't agree more with anything that I've heard in a long time. So here's my answer to the challenge to you, Slacker Stacker. Great idea, my friend, and I want to be the first to accept it. So the only story that popped in my head, and I'm just following my feeling, is a story my mother used to tell, and it was some odd years back where I was a child, and we had a family business in a rough town. My mom had a flower shop, but we lived foot to mouth, hand to mouth, I should say. So the story, a lot of you older people, this will date us all, right? You remember when George Burns played God, and he was in his 80s, and he wore a baby blue windbreaker in the movie, and it was a real popular movie when I was a kid. So this is a true story that I'm telling right now. There was my mom, because we were basically poor, even though we had the flower shop, tough business, and the rent was due, and my mom was distraught. I remember, the stress. I could only imagine. And so my mom was behind the counter. We had a ringer and a bell, like literally, like a bell that was tacked on the door. So because we always worked in the back of the flower shop, you couldn't see who came in from where you worked. So when you heard that bell, you go outside or not outside, but out front to the counter. So my mom hears the bell that one day. She comes out, and there's this little old man, like this 70-year-old man, and my mom said he looked just like George Burns from the movie. He had the baby blue windbreaker on, some slacks, and he was this little petite man. So my mother had never met this man a day in her life. He walked up to my mother, he knew her by first name, and he said, "Patty," he goes, and he pulled out money, and it was $400. And this is back in the 80s. And he put it on the counter, he goes, "I know you need this more than I do." And he turned around and started walking out the front door, and my mother couldn't believe it. She's trying to stop this man, telling him, thank you, but no thank you. My mom had a lot of pride. When you walked out the front door of the flower shop and turned right, it was 100 yards to the corner where there was a light, and there's nowhere to go without being seen on this big main drag on Atlantic Boulevard in North Long Beach. My mom said he was gone. So she assumed maybe he had a ride, or she wasn't sure, but she saw him turn, and it doesn't take much to come from around the counter and walk out the door 15 feet away. And so that one just kind of spooked her, but we paid our rent. So my mom said that she told this story religiously, and she never wavered, she never exaggerated, she just told it the same. And a lot of things like this used to happen to my mom. So a few months go by, and my mom, as she told it, she used to tell it, God rest her soul, we were doing good, we were doing okay. My mom said that she had money, and who walks in the door? And my mom goes out because she don't know who it is. She comes out, and it's the same old little man, and she told him, she said, "Please wait here and stay here, don't go nowhere, don't go nowhere." And she ran back into her purse, and my mom said she got the money that he had, the $400. She came out and she gave it to him, and she said, "I wanted to pay you back," and he goes, He goes, wasn't worried about it. I don't remember the choice of words she used to use, but along the lines of, he knew that she would pay him back. And my mom just was up and down, and then she wanted to do something for him, and I think she'd asked him to wait. Were you married? Like she wanted to make him a bouquet of flowers. So my mom said that when she went in to do that, we heard the bell and ran out, and I was there that day. I'll never forget it because I ran up the street to the corner and turned to see, because he disappeared again. This little old 80-year-old, 70-year-old man, and the second we heard the bell, and my mom ran this time because I remember her saying she didn't know his name. She never got his name. So that's my good story. And this is for the Slacker Stacker Challenge, which, what a great idea. If ever a time that we need good news, not bad news, it's right now. Like Slacker said, all the things in the news that are bad, and things in Afghanistan going on. People need to hear more good stories, you guys. So I encourage you all, and I challenge all of you to put up a small, short video accepting Slacker Stacker's challenge. And if you don't have him or sub to him, I would ask you to go sub to my friend, because he's a good dude. And that's it. So there's my video. This is for Slacker Stacker's challenge, and I accepted the challenge, and I hope I did it justice. And that's all, everybody. So thank you. I appreciate you guys, and the few in chat. Good to see you guys. Thanks. And I challenge all three of you: Clay Scott, BR Chef, and Alexander Smith. Go out there and tell a good story, man, and then challenge somebody else. All right. Good night, you guys. We'll see.